Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. Welcome back to iSelf Academy and Excel Snippet YouTube channel for our video number 21 on Excel User Series 4.2. Today, when I stumbled upon on a blog, and I'm really excited to introduce you guys to a user-defined functionality without a Visual Basic Application Editor here. We don't want to create a function in a VBA code. Instead, we can just combine two formulas which allows us to get our answer or our desired results, whatever we want to get out of it. In Excel, when you go down to the logical test, in a single logical test, we have only sum, count and average. We don't have a max and min function in a single if conditions. If you take up a multiple if conditions, you do have that with you. But unfortunately, we don't have it for the min and max on the singular if. So this is the result that I would love to get out of our data set here. I am running a winery and I have a data set I am dealing with 5 different products here. Wine 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I have a list of them. I would like to know which is the latest wine that I've generated, which is a little older for me. So what is the maximum age that I have for a wine? What is the minimum age that I have for a wine? So I have 5 different wines that comes into play. I have a list of wines that I've recently created in a batch, and then what is the oldest batch and what is the newest batch that I want to find out of. To do this, I've created a table and I want to check out whether it is working correctly or not. Now you can see that this is happening here. And the formula you can see on the right hand side of your data set. I used max and then I used if, and then I never completed the if condition here, because if the condition of wine 1, the product list is matching, then only I'm going to pick up the age. If not, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to leave the other part, that is a false functionality, out of the equation here. You can achieve this in 2 different ways. I'm going to build this from in this data set. I can either achieve this in one point, like a unique functionality in Office 365. If you are not using Office 365, probably you can use remove duplicates to do the same. So let's do it in a unique list first, and then finally I'll create the other list also. The formula remains same for both the dimension, but again, creating unique list, this will make our life a little more easier, because if I have a new data set comes into play, this will become dynamic for me when I use a unique functionality. If I add one more dimension here, I will get my maximum value and the minimum value according to the list here. If it is a remove duplicate functionality, so what I will do is I'll select the whole wine list here, copy that and paste it here, and then I will remove the duplicates for the current selection alone. When I do that, it's going to give you that list alone. But when there is a change happens to your data set, it may not update automatically, but my unique functionality does that for you. But the formula still remains same for both of them. I'm going to just say equals max and I'm going to add a if condition, select the whole data as logical test. Here we cannot able to use a spill effect, nor the spill effect will work effectively here. And I'm going to hit an F4 once, and then I'm going to give a equals and say that if this logical test matches the wine 1 here, then please take all the aging for me, and then log that also. Close the bracket twice and give an enter and populate this here. I got all my answers for the maximum. The same happens for the min. Again, the structure doesn't change, only the formula output does change here. So I'm going to select the whole list, log them up, give an equal, select that and give a comma, and select the aging here, F4 once, double bracket close, give an enter and populate it. I think I'm creating a mess here. So let me recreate the min function for you, and then I'll just say equals min, and then if select the logical test here, F4 once, that should be equals to the wine here, and then give a comma, go back to the aging dates here, F4 once, and double close the bracket and give an enter and populate that. Probably you could have selected all the ranges once before we started working on it, but unfortunately I didn't do that. I just did it for one cell and then I populated using fill down functionality here. I can achieve the same logic in this data set also. So let me come back here. I'll just say equals max, open bracket, if, open bracket, select the logical test here completely, F4 once, that should be equal to the one here, comma, select the list here, and then F4 once, close the bracket and give an enter. That's going to populate the list. This is how we can use it. If you're using Control Enter, I select the range first and then start hitting the min, and then if the logical test selections, and hit an F4 once, comma, and leave the product list untouched and keep it as cell references, as relative cell references, and log the aging table also. That way it's going to give you the list completely for us. So this is how we can build a combination formula to get our desired results. And if I want to get this table running so that I can check whether my answers are right or wrong, you just come back here and then Control T will take you to the table feature here. If you want to name them, you can name them. If you don't want to worry about it, then leave it. Insert a slicer here and add a product list for us, and then make the product list below here and then make it to a 5-column product, and then expand them so it will become a one singular data set for us. We can reduce a bit, and then yes, and then you can, if you want to color them up, you are good to go with it. You can add a colors to it. Now when I hit my wine 1, you can see exactly what is the highest and the lowest value: wine 2, wine 3, wine 4, and wine 5. Again, you can see the formulas also. Again, when you are working on this sort of a table and checking whether it is working correctly or not, always add the table results on top of the table here. I am very lucky here because I've coincidentally made it exactly the same line item here, and the products are not jumbled here, nor it is in a other order, chronological order, or Z to A or Z to Z or something like that. By that way, it makes my life a little more easier. In the real world scenario, the data won't be in this way because this is a manually or maybe a hypothetical data set that I've created here. That way it works for me beautifully. If you're working on this data set, please use the output by adding some space above and then start creating above that list here. By that way it makes our life a little more easier to work around. This is Vinod signing out for myself, Academy and Excel Users Series 4.0 and video number 21. You can see this video on Excel Snippet 2. Happy updating.